Hey guys, this is Chris with Raw Boots Farm, and today we're going to build some more rabbit cages out of wire shelving. Alright guys, so we're going to build some more rabbit cages today, and I wanted to come out here first and show you why I'm thinking about building these, this new set. So these are the ones that we built out of the shipping crate. And I'll get back here where you can see the whole thing if you haven't seen our other videos. And they're working okay. The only thing I don't like is I just like to give my animals some more room, make sure they have plenty of room to move around. And I know these are about the size that a lot of people keep their rabbits in, and I think this thing is like around 30 inches deep, and the outside cages are about maybe 25. This one and this one are maybe 25 wide, and these are maybe a little less than 30. And like I said, I mean, that's still a pretty good size, but when you put the feeder in there, even with these waters on the outside, I think I am going to want to put some kind of bowl water in there. It just gets so hot here in the summertime. I don't want to take a chance on them not having water. I want the bowl waters to make sure they can drink enough to get it, and I want one of these just to ensure if they knock a bowl over that there is some access to water in there. By the time you do that, and then with the wire, I would like to put a piece of tile or something in there for them to set on, especially in the summertime. I'm even thinking that I might put those tiles in the freezer, bring them out here and set them in there for them to get on and cool off. So there's just not a lot of room. And then when you take into account the does that will have babies, once those are, you put the nest box in there, and then once those are ready to get out of the nest box, they're not weaned yet. There's just not going to be a lot of room. So that's why, and look at this Max over here, he's just going to sit on top of the feed bucket. So that's why I'm thinking about building another set. So what I'm looking at is building a 6-foot set that would be split into for two cages that would be like 36 by 32. And I would install them right over here. There's enough room there to put them in. And then what I'm thinking I might do is I would put the bucks over there. I'm going to leave a separation between the two of 3 or 4 inches that I can stuff hay down into, and they can eat from each side, but have a little bit of separation there. And then I'm thinking I will cut the wire out, splitting these cages, and leave the does in here, so they would basically have this whole section to themselves. Or maybe I would at least cut one of them, and when I breed, put the one, right now I got 2 of them that are pregnant, but I would just leave one open and put one in there that's pregnant, ready to have kids, so there's a larger area for when they all come out of the nest box. So that's kind of my thinking of why I'm doing this. And so, not to take up any more video, let's go over and we'll start talking about how we're going to put this thing together. Getting this rabbit cage put together, I didn't take any video when I started, but I wanted to stop here in the middle, kind of show you what I'm doing. So what I got is 2 6-foot pieces of the tight knit shelving on the bottom, so that those wires are still big enough for poop and pee to fall through, but closer enough that they can walk on it easier, and that babies can't fall through. Then on the outside, I have the regular spaced wire that I used a 6-foot piece on the side, each side, and then another one that I cut for the ends. I then decided after I shot the first part of this video that I wanted them to be taller, and so I went back and got just a 12-inch wide piece that I'm using to overlap. And if you overlap them, I don't know if it's hard to see, but you can overlap them with the first cross piece here, and then use your hog rings to tie those together. So it gives you, instead of just putting them on the ends where it wouldn't be very stable. So this makes it 2 feet tall, 24 inches tall, and 32 inches wide, and it'll be right about 3 feet. Each cage will be about 3 feet wide this way, because I'm going to put a divider in there. So I had got those 2 side pieces on to extend it up that other 12 inches. This is just a cut off the 20-inch piece that I had from the other set that I built in my previous video. I'm just going to cut it and put it on the end here. I'll hang it up so you can kind of see. So it's going to overlap more, but it's just because I already have that piece is why I'm using it. If you didn't have it, if I hadn't had those, I would have bought a third piece of the 12-inch and cut it to make those extra, but I knew I had 2 cut-offs of that. So I'm going to cut those, put them on the side, and then I have my 2 pieces over here that I'll wire one down across the top, and then the other one I will put, and that will be my lid that'll open up to make these cages. So that's kind of it. I'm putting them together mainly with hog rings. You can see like right here where I used, hopefully that's focused enough. I have gone down through there and put those together. I've also used some rebar wire on the corners. You can see there where I twisted it up, but you could use baling wire or whatever you got, or even maybe just the hog rings. But I figured using this rebar wire would help hold the corners together. And I will probably, once I figure out how to suspend this, I will probably put some on the bottom. You can see where I use the hog rings to put those two shelves together, but I may go through there once I have it off the ground and put some as well. So I'm gonna finish this up and then I'll come back and show you some more video of the finished product. Hey guys, in case you didn't know what I meant by hog rings, this is a hog ring pair of pliers. The hog ring there, and I'm having a hard time getting this to focus, but is that just that little part that you insert in the end. I've only got the, I have to hold the camera in one hand, so that's why I'm doing this. But these are, they come in a package like this. And you just insert them in there. And then, hopefully you can see this wherever you want to put them together. I'm doing them from the inside so that the sharp points aren't sticking in where the rabbits can get a hold of it, scratch themselves on them. And then you just basically use the pliers and it clamps it together. And hopefully you can see that upside down like that. But that's basically what it is. All right, guys, and here's the rebar wire tool that I was talking about. You get these little wire ties. They come, well, after I uncover the camera, they come in a package like this. This is one taken out of the package. And basically, if I can do this with one hand, putting the top part here, if you can see this, this is a half of the top. It's hard to get to it with the hog ring, so basically you can take this, and like I said, it's hard to do one-handed. Put the tool in there, if you can see that. It's easier if you pull back towards you a little bit on it and you just twist it, and it just basically twists that up. You can bend that over out of your way however you want it, but that's how that works. All right, here's the finished product. Again, built out of 6-foot shelves, made two. Basically, they turned out to be 32 inches deep by 34 to 35 inches wide. They could have been a full 36 inches, but I put a double divider here because this is where I plan on putting my bucks. So I didn't want them to be able to fight through the wire as easily. And I'm going to, there's a scap here that I'm going to stuff hay down in. So a little bit of a visual barrier between them and they can eat from both sides. I just ran the barrier all the way up with some scrap pieces. This was a piece of the leftover 16-inch shelving, so it didn't come up all the way to the top. I know that's kind of hard to see. Everything looks the same on the camera, but I just used that scrap on one side to make a full separation there. And I got my lid that I'll just put some kind of spring latch or a small bungee cord on. And yeah, there you go. Double rabbit, 2-hole rabbit cage built out of wire shelving from Lowe's, put together with hog rings and rebar ties. And again, that was 2 6-foot close-knit shelves for the bottom. Then a 6-foot piece of the regular size wire shelving for the front, back, and sides. And then I used a 12-inch piece to extend it up to the full 24 inches. It's overlapped there. And I used a scrap piece of 20-inch to make the height on the side here. So you would have to have another shelf if you wanted to do that. And then 2 more 6-foot of the regular size shelves. And when I say regular size, I meant the width of the wire instead of the close-knit wire like I have on the bottom. And again, 2 of those for the sides, and then some scrap cutoffs that made my divider. So that's it, and we're gonna get this out there, and I'm going to figure out how to hang this in the rafters of the barn out there where the chickens and the rabbits are. That way there will be no wood underneath to catch droppings and all that. Everything can fall through, and they could easily be moved out. This could be set out in the sun to be sanitized or hosed off with a pressure washer. You couldn't really use a torch on this like some people use on their straight wire cages because you would melt off the rubber coating. But you could definitely pressure wash it or set it out in the sun to be sanitized. So All right, guys, here is the 2-hole rabbit pen made out of wire shelving installed. I ended up just getting these garden stakes. These are not the T-posts, but the garden stakes that have the little, let's see if I can find one here, the little tabs on them. I just bent the top one out, hooked it on there. I've got one on each corner, one in the middle on the back, and those are 5-foot ones, those corners, and then I got a 4-foot one that I drove down further so it wouldn't be in the way of the lid here. Hooked on there, and then they're hooked on just one tab because the others didn't line up with any of the cross pieces. But I do have it wired on some of the other tabs. I hooked a piece of wire and then around one of the cross pieces, and then I wired it all on the top to keep it from popping out. So got the 2 bucks in here. As you can see, way more room than in the other pen over there. Got a towel in here from the rest on to get off of the wire, the feeder, the waterer. I probably am going to use some other waterers just to see, or maybe use a bungee cord around these to keep them from knocking them over. But I did buy some that mount to the outside of the cages. But even with all that in there, they still got way more room. And then I have this divider here that I can put hay in. Hey there, buddy. That they can eat out of both sides. In fact, hey Max, we'll get some hay and stick it in there. I just gave some hay to the females over here. Just went ahead and picked up some hay at Tractor Supply. I plan to just start using my own stuff, but I didn't want to try too much crazy stuff with them. So there you can see the hay there in the divider. They can both pull at it. And then again, hopefully that's enough space that'll keep them from fighting too much. The only thing I do worry about it being here is it is close to the edge of the barn. As you can see there's a little bit of space, but if we did have any blow-in rain, so I will have to watch if it looks like it's going to be any bad storms. It usually doesn't blow from that direction, but if I see you're going to have bad storms, I may have to get like a tarp or something. I'll probably find something and leave it out here where I can drape it over that end, or even just a heavy-duty like moving blanket, just something to keep the blowing rain out of there. So, and in the winter time, even though it's under this cover, it is kind of exposed to any wind, so I probably would throw, like I said, we always have cheap moving blankets that we keep around. Probably throw something like that over it when we're going to have a real cold snap or any blowing storms, etc. So pretty happy with it so far. I may have it set a little high for me. I'm 5'9", and where the way it is, I can reach in there and pretty much get to the back of it if I was leaned over. We'll see how it works. If I have to, I can drive all the stakes in a hair more with a hammer, knock it down another few inches. But overall, so far, I think it's going to work. I may end up building another one that's half that size, just a 1-hole, put it down here at the end, and move one of the females into there. And then I have this other one that I built in another video. This one is not as deep. It's only 20 inches because of the space here, but it's 9 foot long, and I have this baby here just in this 3-foot section. But what I may do is build one more, put one of the rabbits here that's the same size down there, the 36 by 35, and then split this one in 2, move that divider down, and it'd only be 20 inches out, but it would be, 4.5 feet long on each one. So that would be way more room than they really need. I just like, again, I don't want them all cooped up. We probably will. I have a dog kennel I'm moving from my mom's up here, a big wire dog kennel that we'll probably set out there, and then we'll probably take turns taking the rabbits out there and let them stay in that for the day. Hey, quit stealing their hay, Max. You got your own stuff to eat. So that's it. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments, and we'll catch y'all on the next video.